Alright, let's get ready. Let's get to school. Good morning. It is March 26th. It is 6:42. It is time to get somebody to school. And not this one. Today's gonna be a good day. It's gonna be a fun day. Got a little bit planned out of what I need to get done. And then we can go from there. And it is also Wednesday, too.
Yeah, it is.
You forgot that,
Yes.
did you? So yeah, let's go ahead. Let's just relax. Let's take it step by step. And then we're going to go from there. All right, Lil. You have a great day in school. Bye. Aw. All right, and I also do have a job interview today. Group interview. So that'll be fun.
Like and subscribe.
Because remember, Universal is part-time, so I want to try to find another part-time and see what I can do. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. It is 7:07. It is now Dunkin' wrap time. Have a nice little wake-up wrap. Have a little coffee. See, an accident almost.
Jeez.
But let's just go ahead, take a breather moment, and then so much to do today. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right. All right, let's go over to the One Garden Village, drop Tiffany off, let her walk around and just shop for a little bit, and then we got stuff to do. So we just dropped off Tiffany. She's gonna go ahead and meet up with a relative. Go ahead and relax a little. We have a little bit of work to do. First of all, 23andMe is actually selling off everything, all their assets, which means their data bank. But they are giving people the option to go ahead and delete your data. So we have to do that. At 10:30, we have a group interview with Kelly Services for substitute teacher. I know, just hear me out. I thought it would be a fun part-time job, okay? So let's just go ahead and see what happens. But other than that, we also have a couple of other smaller things to do, and then later I may just hit up a Goodwill and see if they got any new retro stuff in. That is definitely one interesting license plate. All sixes followed by SD on the BMW Z3. Okay. Good coffee.
Like
Not as
and
good as Tiffany
subscribe.
does, but good. Alright, so here's the deal. In about an hour, I have an interview with a company called Kelly Services. And basically, if you need a substitute teacher in Florida, they're the ones that cover it. And the thing of it is that I wanted to go ahead and do this one because honestly, it's part-time, it's on an as-needed basis. So basically, you can do as little or as much as you want, basically, and sign up for it. That's the advantage. The disadvantage, there's no commitment to you. So it's not a steady pay. But it's something to fill in the gaps. And that's what we want to go ahead and do. I am still keeping an eye out for full-time work because just on the off chance that a full-time IT company wants me, yeah, I'm going to accept that. And that would be awesome. But at the same time, I know that I have to look for different approaches in the meantime until something like that can happen. It's all about keeping your doors open and never shutting a door. Because with Universal yesterday, okay, it would have been so easy for me to go ahead and just say, I appreciate your time. However, I'm not really looking for a part-time job. At the moment, I'm looking for more of a full-time job. So I'm going to have to respectfully decline. But here's the thing, okay? That would have been a stupid mistake. One of the greatest things that I learned is adaptability and flexibility. You have to adapt to your environment, meaning whatever is going on around you, you have to be able to adapt to. So that way that you can bend to meet the needs of your environment. Flexibility. You need to be flexible. Go ahead and figure out how I can make the best of what I have. And then go ahead and apply it into another area. Okay? I was flexible and adaptable when it came to Universal because even though it's not IT, one, it's a job. And when you have people depend on you, like I said, it doesn't matter if it's grandmother, mom, brother, sister, wife, child, whatever, or boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it is. You have to go ahead and put yourself in the survival mode. You have to think about what the best is for the overall goal. And that is to provide for the people that you care for. And that is what I did yesterday. And honestly, that's what I'm doing today. I am going with my overall goal, which is to provide for my family. And that's the important part. Would I love to go ahead and do an IT job again, a remote one? Yeah, of course. But has one come along yet? No, not yet. Have I applied for a few? Yeah, but those branches are still out there, and you never know when a callback will come. It could come in a week or two, but in the meantime, I need a backup plan. And Universal said, here you go. Here's your opportunity. What you do, what you make of it is what it'll be. And now today, I'm going to go ahead, follow up, do a Kelly service interview, and see where this substitute teacher role goes. And who knows, it could actually land a great opportunity, or they could just outright decline. You never know nowadays. But if you don't take that chance, if you don't try, you never will know. And that's the important part. Always try. Always give it your best shot and see what happens. Because if you don't, you're going to regret it. And that's the one thing. I made one mistake way back. So back in 2005, and I'll be honest with you, a lot of people have been asking, well, why don't you go to Disney? Why don't you go to Disney? Well, I'm going to tell you the full story. All right, so get a cup of coffee, relax, okay? Back in 2005, I worked for Walt Disney World. And I went through one of their casting events, and trust me, it was humongous back then. We're talking like 4 different rooms and all different kinds of people you had to meet with before getting to the final person that actually landed you into the spot. Then you had to go through a physical test where they checked your hearing, that kind of stuff. Heck, they don't even do that anymore at Universal, from what I know of so far. But this was Disney back then. And they wanted to make sure that you were top notch. So here I was, 20 years old, just had a little one. We went over there because I was so tired of McDonald's crew member work back then. I went to McDonald's, I applied, I got the job. But anyway, then after I got into the interview room where they land you into a role, they gave me a couple choices. Disney Quest, which was the really cool arcade back then, and then later closed down, became NBA Experience, and I think it's just like a pop-up shop eventually for like seasonal stuff. But anyway, they also had, and that was part-time, they also had full-time work. Full-time was attractions at the parks. Well, I had that mindset of don't do part-time, don't do part-time. It's not going to be good for you. Just accept a full-time role. I did. And I landed over at Tomorrowland Attractions in Magic Kingdom. Well, 20 years old me was different than now. I wasn't in love with Disney as much. And there were younger guys and older guys in the group that were singing and doing all the dances and really, really into it. Like, really. Me, on the other hand, I wasn't really. I thought of it just as a job that you go to and be done. Well, keep in mind also the Disney culture was different back then too, so that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. And I kind of pointed out in some videos when I go to the parks. But anyway, me and the team trainer, we had to sit down and we were talking, and she was pretty upfront and honest and was like, look, I just don't see you fitting in well here. And I don't think this is really what you want to do. And I was like, yeah, but what can we really do? So they set me up with a transfer, got me over into Caribbean Beach Resort. And it was pretty fun. It was pretty cool. I got to meet a lot of tourists from around the world and all kinds. It was awesome. Well, here's the thing. I was on a register that was shared with like 5 or 6 other people. And they claimed that my register was over by $50. So, after that, I was called into the office. And my union rep was in there too. And I asked, well, what grounds do I really have for this? And she was like, nothing. I was like, well, then what am I paying you for out of my paycheck? Yeah, nothing. I was like, okay. So, eventually, I even asked the manager, well, is there a verification count that was done to verify that the register was over? And they were like, well, we do that without you. And that was a red flag to me because I worked at Walmart. And whenever a manager checked your register, okay, and did the register check at the end of the day, they had to go ahead and do it in front of you. At least at my Walmart, they did. So that was kind of a little red flag to me. But, nonetheless, Disney and I parted ways back then. And I want to say that was about June, July of 2005. Yeah, something like that. After that, then I kind of like went over to a couple of smaller places, did a few things like that. Heck, at one point I even worked for a Captain D's. That was a nightmare. Although I got to work with one of my best friends from high school, Laura, who was freaking awesome to work with. But the point is, we all have regrets on what we should have done. And if I would have gone down the path of working for Disney Quest, I know I would have eventually been let go or moved anyway. But still, at least I could have done what I really loved. And that was technology like that. And back then, Disney Quest was really freaking cool. Now, with this whole Kelly service and substitute teacher role, back in 4th grade, I had a teacher, Mr. Gordon, who unfortunately died of a heart attack, but he was amazing. And he really got me into technology more and more back then. And he saw that it was how I could connect with people better. Because at that point, I was kind of the shy kid coming down here from Mount Carmel, from Pennsylvania. And that's how I connected with people. Through a love of hobbies, whether it was NES, which was the big thing back then, and computers. The Apple IIs, I love them. The IBMs back then with the MS-DOS prompts, they were awesome. But that's really how I got into technology and where I really started to get my passion for it. And not taking Disney Quest has always been my biggest regret to this day. And with the substitute teacher role, being able to pass on information to a new generation, if I'm substituting in like a technology class, that would be awesome as heck. But for now, let's go ahead, get ready for the interview. It's a group interview. There's like 30 some odd people that are going to be in it, so I don't even know what's to come of it. But it's just important to remember we can't go back. We can always go forward and change pivotal moments that we're going to do in the future. So if you have a gut instinct on what you want to do, just do it. And then go ahead and reflect on it later. And that's what I learned. But I'm going to get ready for my interview. That's in about half an hour. And then we can go from there. Maybe go over to a Goodwill, see what retro stuff they have in. Something like that for the Wii.
And the pay rates are determined by OCPS, and they are as follows. So substitute teachers are paid by the day. A substitute teacher with 60 college credits, the rate is $120 per day. Now, underneath of that, you will see it says $125 daily with the 18-hour training course. However, this course is not offered and has not been offered in a few years now. So for the majority of you that are present on this call, this is not going to apply to you. But just in case there is anybody present who maybe subbed for us a few years ago and is now returning, if you did complete this optional 18-hour training course and submit the certificate of completion for that course, your rate will be $125 per day. You would definitely remember taking this course because it would have cost $179 and was held at Orange County Technical College. A substitute teacher with a bachelor's degree and above, the rate is $130 per day. Again, if you are a returning sub who completed that optional 18-hour training course a few years ago and submit your certificate of completion, your rate will be $135 per day.
That was awesome. Okay, so basically here's the deal. There's compliance, there's amount of days that you gotta work, but that's cool. And you get to pick and choose the days of the week you want to work. So, what that means is with Universal, let's just say I am scheduled to work every Wednesday, Thursday, Friday with Universal. Okay? I can go and work Monday, Tuesday with this Kelly Education, Kelly Service. Freaking awesome. Or if I'm scheduled to work Thursday, Friday, Saturday with Universal, I can pick up shifts from Kelly Service during the week on this one whenever I want on my own terms. I love that. And I had to see about my bachelor's degree because, well, as for it isn't the best, it is a college degree after all. So, we'll see what happens with that, but oh my god, it's freaking cool. Now I have to tell Tiffany. Because truthfully, I haven't even told her that I was even doing all this today. And I think the reason why is because I wanted to go ahead and see if I was truly wanting to do this. Or if it was like, this looks interesting. But I'm actually interested in truly wanting to do this. And it pairs well with, right now, Universal. Of course, if anything pops up on, like, let's just say, another company, then of course, it is what it is. But at the same time, right now, pairing these two up may seem like the best choice for now. Of course, keep in mind, when summer school comes up, there may be no work, so that could also be an issue. But let's go ahead and let's get Tiff. And now I can take a mental break and just ease my mind. Alright, before we go ahead and get Tiff, we're gonna go over Goodwill quick and check out for some retro games. Alright, let's go into Goodwill over here in Winter Garden and let's see what's new. That would have been really cool back when Lily was little. Golf balls, $40 at Goodwill. Then again, I could buy one of these since I am a Universal Orlando team member. Okay. Alright, so we struck out again at Goodwill. It seems to be a common theme with going to that Goodwill lately. And what's funny is it was the same amount of freaking Wii Fit. That's why I didn't even bother recording it, because it would have just been the same stuff over again. They did have an Oculus, like I showed you. But really, there wasn't much. Alright, let's go get Tiffany. Get a little Starbucks, a little sugar pick-me-up, and then go from there. So, I'll be honest with you about one other thing. My only other regret so far is that whole VTC Tech thing. I should have never accepted it. And the reason why is because they couldn't even give me the courtesy of giving me a denial. That part really irritated me. But, like I said, it's in the past. You can't change that, but you can change your future by what you do today. And I got great news for you. I did the orientation, the first step for substitute teaching.
Huh?
Yeah. Kelly Services, Kelly Education.
What's that?
They're the ones that employ the substitute teachers in OCPS. I did it with them.
Oh, okay.
It's $180 a day. Okay. So that's not too bad.
No, that's actually...
From basically 7 o'clock in the morning to like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. That's not bad at all. And I get to be home for dinner with you.
Yeah.
So I have to go through a couple more steps, like submitting my documentation, stuff like that. But yeah, it's that. And then you gotta do a drug test, and
Well, of course.
the only hard part is I gotta get fingerprinted.
Oh, you can do that.
That's the
easily.
pain.
I couldn't.
That's the pain in the butt part.
Too bad you
But
didn't get your information from that time.
well, no, you gotta do it as a vendor for OCPS,
Oh, okay.
so it's different.
Okay.
But yeah,
All right.
I'm actually pretty stoked for this because you can
Wow.
do it as little as you want or as much as you want. And it's a compliment to this Universal thing.
No, that's wow. Yeah.
All right, it is now time to go get Lil. Let's get our butts moving.
I hate wasps.
Dipping claws in the first.
All right, let's go get Lil. It has been a really great day. I've actually been so excited and happy with everything today so far. The only thing that I'm upset about that I couldn't get to do is delete in our 23andMe junk. And that's only because I wanted to download a copy of our data before I get it deleted.
Yeah.
But that's the only downside.
There definitely was some stuff on there that actually helped me find out some things that were wrong with me.
Did you have a good day in school?
Yeah.
Do you want to go home?
Yeah.
Do you want to play on your iPad?
Yeah.
Am I annoying?
Did you do your interview good?
No. I hate to fight.
I did a good interview today. I interviewed to become a substitute teacher for school. Alright, let's go over and let's have some fun. $20, 25 cents, 6.391 gallons. Let's get going. We got a little bit of a trip. So it turns out that what I thought was a Goodwill is actually a Salvation Army. So we're gonna turn around here at the 7-Eleven over here in Orlando, go over to it, and check out their retro goodness. And from what I saw, the building looks quite big on the outside, so it gives me some promise, some hope. And then along the way back, we can also check out a couple more as well and see what we can find. The funny thing is that the whole retro hunt for different games, it's not to sell at all. We're not doing this to find retro stuff to sell. Instead, it's for the personal collection, for personal use, which is one of the reasons why I enjoy this part. I love it, and it's a lot of fun. So this is the Salvation Army Family Store. Let's go check it out. So strike out, unfortunately. Nothing in there at all, not even electronics really. They have maybe like a couple of TVs, but it was mostly like some loose stuff like mattresses, bicycles, stuff like that. Nothing that would be of use to us. Let's get going, let's see what else is over here. Okay, so here's what we're gonna end up doing. We're gonna go back over to our side of town, except we're gonna go to the other side of town. And we're gonna go over to Lake County, because over there in Claremont, there's a Goodwill. And I remember they used to have some pretty good stuff. Because honestly, over here, I'm not really feeling it over here. Alright, so this is Goodwill over in Claremont in Lake County. Let's go take a look and see what they got. Alright, that's pretty cool. But $74.99. Wii Fit returns again. So, and subscribe. Here's the deal. It's not that we struck out in there because there was nothing at all. We struck out in there because, one, the prices were outrageous. Like $79, $69 for that NES Classic. And $24.99 for a Wii Fit board. That should be like $10, $12 at most. Bit ridiculous. What I also found was funny is that they had a Wii game, and it was, what was it? The Donkey Kong one for the Wii, and it was like $12.99, whereas all the other games were like $5. It's kind of like, why? And then I saw a Dino Ultra Zord Funko Pop. I was thinking, okay, this seems pretty cool. $39.99. I look it up online, about that same price. So that tells me they're scanning them, putting them at market value from what they see on eBay, and that's how they're doing it in store. Alright, it's 3:34. We're going to go back in the Winter Garden location and see if anything fresh has been put on the shelf. Let's get going. That game came out when I was just graduating from school. 904. I did see this. $24.99. Pokemon. Interesting. You never know, there could be value in here. Ended up getting the Pokemon cards after talking with Tiffany. And she had a great idea for a new video concept. Let's go ahead and get back to the car.
Charizard thing here.
So, how do you feel about my Pokemon card collection?
This would take forever to go through.
You told me to do it. You told me to!
say anything.
Alright, guys. It is 6:15. It is time to end the day. It has been a really great day, honestly. We got to go through the first steps of the substitute teacher role, which is going to be a nice compliment to Universal. So that way I can work as much as I want or as little as I want with the substitute teacher part and make up the difference on the Universal part. So I love that part. But overall, then we went ahead and we tried to do a little thrift shopping for some retro games. That led us into Pokemon territory that Tiffany was okay with. And that told me to do. So that was interesting. But now, it is time to end the day. I hope you had a great day, and thank you so much for being with today. If you enjoyed it, go ahead, and if you don't mind, go ahead and like and subscribe. Okay, I really do appreciate that. And if you also like to leave a comment, I'm always open to those. Again, thank you so much. I will see you tomorrow, wherever the day takes us tomorrow. We will see. But for now, good night.
If I won't put them back, no matter what they try, I'll stay by your side.